The training journal, in my opinion, is the most underutilized tool in order for you to attain your goals. We prefer the paper journals over the digital. You can easily flip through them and you can find out what you've done in the past.
If you have a digital app that you like a lot, by all means.
Oh, yeah.
The important thing is really that you're tracking what you're doing. It is really easy to get distracted when you get your phone out. You know yourself, are you able to get on there and just log your stuff, or are you going to be like checking all your texts, checking Instagram, 40 minutes later, you get back to your next set. It looks like the lizard people are going to come from the Earth's core as long as the cell tower radiation doesn't, what?
Did you log it?
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I was doing. Sorry, hold on. You get back out of that and get in my app. What did I do? That was like 10, 12?
4. Yeah, so another thing I like about the paper journal, psychologically speaking, there is something to taking pen or pencil to paper. You tend to remember it more. One of the more simple ways to do a training journal is to take 1 page per day. I'm just going to show you a more simple way, then I'll show you a little bit more in-depth way. The simple way is, you open up your notebook, over in the corner margin of the paper, you're going to put down your date, off to the side, start time and your end time. Just gives you an idea of just how long it took you to do the session. First line, exercise number 1, usually your priority exercise, the one you really want to concentrate on. We'll go into more detail with like programming in another video, but today is just give you an idea about the journal. You got your sets, then you have your reps, and then your weight. And underneath that, you want to have a line for miscellaneous notes. It doesn't have to be too detailed, but detailed enough to give you an indicator like, that's why something happened, or that's why I felt that way. Exercise number 2, same thing, and then so forth. You just keep going down. As many exercises as you do, you just go down that page. That's the most simple way that I would like to set up a training journal. This is kind of like what we really do for our clients. Sometimes we'll leave notes at the bottom. It's your bare bones on what you want to do. If you're calculating your own training, the more information, the better. What I'll show you next is how I set up my journal. We have page 1, page 2. We're going to go over page 2. Because I like to start the day off remembering what my goals are. I'll write down my main goals. And it can be anything. The second line, 3 things that you're grateful for. Sounds corny, I know. But if you sit down at the beginning of the day, you write down 3 things that you're truly grateful for, I guarantee you'll have a better start of the day. You don't want to start the day saying, all grumpy. It doesn't have to be too involved. It could be anything simple, It's like, I don't know if you can hear it over the microphone, but the dog is snoring. I love the dog. And so oftentimes I'll put down, man, I'm really grateful for Choose. He's just an absolutely wonderful guy. Starts the day out great, right? After that, I'll put down like a to-do list. Like what are like the 3 or 4 main things that I want to accomplish today that will help me towards my goal. It's whatever your priorities are. It keeps them in focus. A daily reminder to get your butt in gear. After that, this is when it really gets into the weeds. I'm gonna abbreviate this. So vitals for the morning and the AM, and my vitals in the evening, PM. So it's an experiment I've been running on myself for a while. As I'm getting older, you want to take better care of yourself, etc. Certain things that I'll measure. One is my body weight. So I have a tendency to dehydrate fairly readily. At night, I'll weigh myself. Say I weigh in at, say 205 pounds. I'll weigh like 201 pounds by morning. A lot of perspiration throughout the night. Indicates to me that, hey, you probably should drink some more water, more fluids. So I'll put down like my body weight here. The next thing I'll do is I'll measure my pulse. You'll put down your pulse. After that, I'll measure my oxygen saturation level, and that's usually in the same meter. It's pretty simple. Just put it on your finger, you can check it. I'll take my temperature, and then finally, and probably more importantly, I'll monitor my blood pressure. This is all in the morning, so right when I get up, I'll try to write that down. The next line is your vitals for in the evening, or just before you go to bed, and I'll do the same thing. And like I said, you don't necessarily have to do this. I'll put down my rest or sleep, just kind of indicator on how well you rested or if you rested at all. We've had some of our clients come in where they've only slept like an hour and a half. One of them works on swing shift, and I don't know how he does it, but man, he does awesome.
He stays dedicated.
He's an awesome dude. Just kind of gives you an indicator of sleep. I think sleep is one of those things where most people don't pay much attention to. I mean, if you have like low testosterone levels, look into your sleep. honestly. After that, I'll write down what the weather is. Believe it or not, the weather has a huge impact in your training. And that doesn't mean like, well, I went outside and I did farmer carry in the rain. The humidity, the heat, it affects people differently. I'm a cold weather person. I don't like the heat at all. And oftentimes, my best sessions would be like when it's rather cold out, where everyone else is saying, I'm freezing. I was gonna use profanity there. They're freezing, I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And also I'll put down like what the weather was like when I'm training itself. This is just like for the day. After that, I'll put down my mental state. Sometimes you feel pretty motivated, some days not so much. And a lot of that goes into your rest. You know, if you didn't sleep very well, chances are you're probably gonna be very motivated. Mentally speaking, how focused was I? Or was I very distracted? Was there like outside stressors? You know, like was something going on with the family or with work? This isn't an excuse page. This is just to say, hey, this is why this or did not work well. So the next line is physical. And all that is you kind of notate all your aches and pains or little grievances that you might have. After that, I'll write down supplementations or supplements. What sort of supplements are you taking? I'm a natural athlete. I don't know the first thing about TRT or any of the testosterone stuff in it, but
Super creatine.
Yeah, super creatine. But what I'll do is I'll write down like the supplements that I take. It's usually I like to take fish oil and magnesium and zinc, vitamin C, etc. But it's just an indicator. Hey, this is what you took for that day. After that, meals. This is the one section that I think having a calorie tracker would be ideal. This can get very monotonous, especially if you're trying to lose weight or gain weight. You need to find where your happy median is with your calorie intake and adjust accordingly. Underneath the meals, I'll have it to where I have my calories, protein, carb, and fat. Your macros. That's what you want to concentrate on. Years ago, when I was really competing, just to maintain my body weight, I had to ingest 6,000 calories a day. If I dropped below 6,000 calories a day, I would lose weight. It was just that simple. This was one way that I could keep track. Say, all right, I'm not going to be like losing any of my gains. Then you just write down your notes, and that could be anything. That could be anything about this. It could be anything about the first page. The more information, the better. This is really into the weeds. You don't necessarily have to do this. I have a whole footlocker full of training journals of just my own. We should probably dig that out.
Yeah, they're in the closet. We got to get them.
Yeah, and you can go as personal as you want. It's good to write down your thoughts on paper because it frees up the mind a little bit. Like I said, this is how I set up. This isn't in stone. You can write it out however you want. I think, honestly, in my opinion, it is a huge tool, and you'll actually be able to achieve your goals in a far faster time.
Ah, perfect.
Did you log that?
Ah! We're very old. We like writing things.
I must be dead or something, but I'm feeling a little off today. You can divide it up in breakfast, second breakfast, lunch, second lunch, dinner, second dinner, and then a snack, and then a pre-bed snack.